Hi everyone. It's about a little after 9 o'clock in the evening. I'm on a train from Foligno to Perugia, which is the capital of Umbria. And this is something I've done before, so it's pretty late. I didn't feel like going to bed, so it's like, why not take a train to a different city for a couple of hours? And that's one of the nice things about traveling by train in Italy is the trains are running all the time, and it's so easy to buy a ticket at the last minute. And as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I'd recommend downloading the Trenitalia and the Italo apps. But for trips like this, where you're going from small city to small city, you're really going to be using Trenitalia, which is the state-run or federal government-run train system. So yeah, like maybe 30 minutes ago, I bought my ticket. It's a little less than an hour or maybe 40 minutes or so to go from Foligno to Perugia. And I wanted to take this time to give you some more tips. So I had a previous video on tips, and I'll give you a few more tips. But the primary one is just train travel is super easy. I think I maybe paid 10 euros for this trip up to Perugia and about the same or less on the way back. So it's pretty easy, pretty inexpensive. Yeah, so there's that. Another thing I want to talk about is, so I found Italy to be incredibly safe. So maybe not smart, but I'll walk around. Just explore random neighborhoods, including at night. If it looks sketchy, I won't walk around the area at night, but for the most part, I just love to explore. Hence the name Carl Explores Italy. But the only so no safety concerns, but the only concern that I've had is just pickpockets, and that's a well-known issue in the bigger cities and particularly close to the tourist hotspots. So there's a guy, an Italian guy. His name begins with C. I'll post a link or post his name on this video. But he's always posting videos when he's traveling around, mostly Rome, but other cities too. And he just takes videos of the pickpockets. And I saw a post, like someone, I think on Reddit, was asking about pickpockets, and the person said, they traveled to Italy, had a great time, and they didn't see any pickpockets. You're not going to see the pickpockets. Like, these are professionals. They are professionals at their jobs, and they look for unsuspecting tourists, and before you know it, your phone or your wallet will be gone. And I recommend checking out the videos that the guy posts on YouTube, because the people he's showing, I mean, they look mostly younger, fairly good-looking women. Sometimes men too, but at least the ones that he's showing are mostly women, and they look like they're just a bunch of friends hanging out. And as soon as he puts the camera on them, they cover their faces and all that, and they run away because they know that he knows who they are. And then he'll show videos of like wallets and things like that, with passports and other things that are thrown on the train tracks or thrown in the garbage and all that. And I think he's been able to help some people get their stuff back, but a lot of times, like, it's just thrown on the train tracks. So just be careful. There's no particular way that a pickpocket looks. So I'd recommend, if you want, my good friend will carry all his stuff in one of those like travel things that you put under your shirt or hangs in front of your body. Or at a minimum, just put your stuff in your front pocket or put your stuff in your bag, and then have your bag in front, like your backpack in front of you. And make sure you have a very secure backpack too, like where the bottom is reinforced, because I've seen reports of people just kind of cutting the bottom of backpacks or cutting straps on purses in order to get the person's stuff. So just be aware of that. And again, there's no way a pickpocket looks. I'll be on the escalator leaving the train station or heading into the train station, and I'll remember, my wallet's in my back pocket, and I'll just take my wallet, put it in my front pocket, and put my hand on my wallet. And there's someone behind me, and they maybe think that I think that they're a pickpocket, but whatever. I'd much rather be safe than sorry. And I don't feel any kind of way when someone in front of me does the same thing. Like, look, if you're traveling out of the country and you don't, like you're missing your credit cards or your debit card and all that, it's gonna be a problem. So just take extra precautions. And also with passport, so I generally will leave my passport in the safe at my hotel. Probably supposed to bring it with me everywhere, but I've not gotten stopped when I've just been traveling around the city and asked for my passport. The only time I've been asked for it is when I am making a purchase and I want the VAT refund. So in my previous video, I mentioned that for purchases over 70 euros, you can get a refund of the VAT, which is about 22%. In that case, they will ask for my passport, and then I'll have to basically, when I'm leaving the Schengen area, I can go to the place that does the refund, and I think they ask for my passport there as well. So, but for the most part, I keep my passport in the hotel, and then I will have a digital copy on my phone. But either way, I'd recommend having a digital backup copy of your passport, just in case something happens. And my cousin came to visit me, and yeah, she was concerned about safety and losing stuff, and I told her, like, Italy's safe, but at a minimum, if you have your passport and a credit card, you're good to go. All problems are, for the most part, solvable. Another train travel tip that I'd recommend is if you are traveling between cities and you have a long layover in a particular city. So, for example, I had an 8-hour layover in Rome before going to visit my friend a couple of days ago. Find bag storage places. So I carry just a single carry-on, but that carry-on is stuffed. And I didn't want to just carry it around Rome with me. I do carry my backpack with all of my important documents, but my suitcase I just leave. I found a baggage storage place. It cost 6 euros for the day, and I just left my bag there. And then when I was ready to depart Rome Termini, I just went there, got my bag, and it was super easy. So look for places like that. I will say that if you're in Venice and people offer to help you with your bags, know that that's going to be very, very expensive. And also, when you're in Venice, don't carry heavy bags or large bags. In general, for your trips to Italy, I would only bring a carry-on if you can. If you have that big suitcase in Venice, you're going to have to carry that suitcase up and down bridges, or you're going to have one of these people help you, and I think it's going to cost you like $50 or 50 euros or even more. Or you're going to have to take one of the boat taxis, which I think can cost 100 euros. So yeah, travel lightly. And I posted a video of me at a laundromat, and just go to the laundromat, do your laundry, or go to a dry cleaners and pay them to do your laundry. But I find I have the best experiences when I'm just at a laundromat, just around the locals, and if I need help, they're more than willing to help me, or they'll notice that I'm not from there and they'll ask me where I'm from, or I'll hear people talking English and they turn out to be Americans. So yeah, it's just a great experience. So do that. Another thing is tourist attractions in Italy. So if you're walking around the Colosseum or any major tourist attraction and someone offers you something like a bracelet or something like that, or a postcard that seems like they're giving it to you, they're not giving it to you. They want some money. So I generally, unless you want that, but I generally just say no grazie, and that's fine. And then from what I understand, like if you're around the Colosseum and there are gladiators there in their costumes and you want to take a photo with them, they're expecting payment for that. That's how they make their money, so just keep that in mind. Another thing, just a tip, a pointer, when you're walking around Italy, you will see, and it depends on what city you live in, but you'll see a lot of dog poop or just poop on sidewalks. It's not everywhere, but there are certain areas where you will see it. And just keep an eye out. I was in Turin walking around with a friend, and he lives in Turin, and I was like, hey, watch out, watch out, watch out. And he didn't seem to be bothered by it. But yeah, if you have nice shoes, maybe you don't want to step in poop. And he said that according to him, it's good luck if you step in it. So let's just say in certain cities, there's a lot of luck to be found. So just keep an eye out there. And as far as just cleanliness and all that, it hasn't been an issue, but I'm a germaphobe, so I bring hand sanitizer with me. So I'd recommend bringing little packs of hand sanitizer. Or what I'll do when I'm in Italy is I'll go to the PAM store, PAM, Più Meno, grocery store, and I'll just buy the little gel disinfecting mani, the little hand sanitizers. And I bring them back to the United States with me, and it just, when I meet some hand sanitizer, I'll pull them out, and it's in Italian. It just reminds me of Italy. So just little reminders like that of my good times in Italy. So bring hand sanitizer. And then women, if you're traveling on the trains, so most of the high-speed trains will be well equipped, but some of the regional trains might not have toilet paper. So consider bringing maybe a small pack of toilet paper if you need to use the train on one of the smaller or the slower speed regional trains. Restaurants. So another interesting experience, and not really a tip, but just an interesting observation, is that Italians are, of course I'm generalizing here, but a lot of Italians are concerned about il vento, so the wind. And they believe that the wind will make you sick, particularly like a draft. So I was at a restaurant near Rome, Termini, and there was outside seating, and there was a door. I was sitting close to the door, and then there was a family sitting at a table close to me. And someone came in and they left the door open, and you could just feel the breeze. And this guy at the table just glanced over at me and then just gave the workers there a look like, what the hell? Like, and yeah, just that, the Vento, like, he was pretty upset about it. I didn't mind. It wasn't that cold. Another thing in restaurants, and just if you happen to be fortunate to be invited over to someone's house, is the Scarpetta. So Scarpetta means little shoe. So scarpe are shoes, Scarpetta. But the Scarpetta in a restaurant is when you take the bread and you kind of sop up or mop up the sauce, and just like if you finish a bowl of pasta or a dish and there's sauce left over, just using that bread to get that sauce and to finish off the dish and clean the plate. Apparently is a high honor for chefs and cooks. So I was at a restaurant in Foligno last night, and this one pasta dish was absolutely amazing, and the sauce was very good. So I used the bread to sop up the sauce, and the waitress saw as she was walking by, and she gave me a smile, and she mentioned it later. She's like, I noticed the scarpetta. So yeah, sauce is good. Use that bread, sop it up. Another tip is to install WhatsApp. So WhatsApp isn't as popular it's popular, but I think for everyday Americans who don't have family overseas, we generally just use SMS, text messages, MMS, or using, for iPhone owners, using iMessage. But when I travel internationally, when I'm in Europe, WhatsApp is incredibly popular. And I think it's because, so I actually just got an Italian phone and data plan, and it includes like 150 gigs of data per month, but it only includes 50 text messages per month. So I think that it's common to be charged for text messages in Italy, so that maybe that's why people use WhatsApp. And I've noticed that a lot of businesses just will post like, text us on WhatsApp. But also, like, my friends who live here in Italy, we're connected on WhatsApp, so we'll chat via WhatsApp. I checked into a hotel in Florence last year, or actually a few months ago, and they asked for my phone number, and then I just get messages on WhatsApp asking if everything's okay and all that. So it's pretty popular. But also, if you meet new people in Italy, and I'd encourage you just to meet the locals, they'll ask for your WhatsApp. So when I was in the lavanderia, sometimes when I'm in Italy, I forget my English words. When I was in the laundromat, I needed help, and this great guy named Roberto helped me out. And as we were saying our goodbyes, he was like, "Hey, let me get your number." And I was like, "Okay, like let's connect on WhatsApp." So now we're connected on WhatsApp, and I know someone in Foligno the next time I'm here, or the next time I'm in the area. So definitely install WhatsApp. It links to your phone number, and it's so easy to use and to communicate with people in the United States, but also people that you meet from around the world when you travel. Another thing I'd recommend is to check your credit card expiration dates. So when my cousin traveled with me, it's her first trip to Italy, first trip outside of North America, and she got here, and it was at the end of August, like into the beginning of September, and it turns out that her debit card expired at the end of August. So when she got here, her debit card didn't work. And so, but I think what happened is somehow she was able to, actually, yeah, she called her bank and they were able to issue her a new debit card. And then she was able to add that debit card to her Apple Wallet. And then she was able to just use Apple Pay to pay for things. So in Italy, you can pay for almost everything with credit cards, except for some rural train station bathrooms. For the most part, you can just pay with your credit card, so contactless, or you can use Apple Pay or Google Pay or something like that. So I would say check your expiration dates before you leave. And being honest, the same thing just happened to me. My debit card expired a few months ago, and my bank never sent me one, a renewal or a replacement card. And I didn't notice until maybe a couple days before I was supposed to leave for Italy. And I called my bank. They were like, "Yeah, we sent you the card, but you never received it." Mind you, this is late December, and my card expired in September. So check all your cards, at least the cards you're going to bring with you. And then the cards that you're going to bring with you, make sure, so I just use my debit card for getting cash out of the ATM. And then I use my credit cards for everything else. Check to make sure you have a credit card that does not charge you a foreign transaction fee. So there are American Express cards, Chase cards, Citi cards, like all banks will have cards that will not charge you a foreign transaction fee. Otherwise, they're going to charge you, I think, 2% for every transaction, which adds up. And then I mentioned Apple Wallet. Just set that up with whatever cards you're going to need. That way, if hopefully not, your wallet gets stolen or you lose your wallet or something like that, you at least have your cards on your phone. And if you need to cancel a card and have your bank reissue it, I think they can cancel the card and then reissue that card, and it'll show up in your Apple Wallet with the new card information. At least that's been my experience. Not with a... actually, you know what I had? There was fraud on one of my cards. I called the bank. They canceled that card, and then my new card was issued to my Apple Wallet before I actually received the physical card. So I'm not sure if that works with Google Pay, but it certainly can work with Apple Pay depending on your bank. So I have it set up on my phone and my watch. So yeah, just consider doing that. Another thing I'd recommend, and I think it might be required, but just to be safe, I have it, is travel medical insurance. And I think I was paying for each trip, and then now that I come to Italy a few times a year, which is why I got the phone plan, and I'll talk about that in a second. I got a plan that covers me for a whole year, and it was, I think, less than $200, and it provides several tens of thousands of dollars of medical coverage. And medical coverage in Italy is not expensive, but my understanding is that if you, as a foreigner, if you need to go and get medical care, they expect payment in cash. So I believe with my medical insurance plan through GeoBlue, they will pay that for me, or worst case, I'll pay out of pocket. Again, it's not going to be very expensive, and then they'll reimburse me. But definitely would recommend having medical insurance, because your medical insurance plan from the United States or whatever country you're from, unless you're European, will probably not cover you in Italy. Yeah, so medical insurance. And then the last thing, hotels in Italy and Europe are just interesting because the rooms tend to be pretty small, but you can get some large rooms if you're willing to pay extra. But I had a situation when I was in Turin where I paid for a room with a king-size bed, and I get to the room, and I'm out hanging with my friend in Turin all day, and I get back to the hotel, and I want to get some sleep, and I just could not sleep. Like the bed was just very uncomfortable. Actually, one second. I think we're arriving in Perugia. Let me check my app. Okay, so we're in Perugia, but we're actually at one of the stations outside of the city center. So we're going to Perugia, the central train station. So we have a few more minutes, and I'll wrap up this video before then. But yeah, so I went to go to sleep, and I'm like, okay, like this is supposed to be a king-size bed. And a lot of hotels, what they'll do is they will actually push two twin-size or double-size beds together and say that's a king-size bed. And most times that's not an issue, but like for my hotel back in Foligno, that's what they did. Whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But the hotel that I was at in Turin, the bed was just so like each of the individual beds were uncomfortable, and then I tried to lay across the beds, and it was just like it was impossible to sleep. So I went down and said, "Non riesco dormire," so I can't sleep on that bed, il letto. And the guy was like, "Oh, sorry, that's all we have," and like I couldn't sleep, and it wasn't an inexpensive hotel, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to find a different place to stay. Trying not to be difficult. And then I get on the phone with American Airlines hotels at the hotel portal. And just know that even though if they say like it's non-refundable and all that, like if you have some major problems, they will work with the hotel to fix the problem or to get you a refund so you can find a different spot. So I'm on the phone with American Airlines hotel portal. And as I'm talking to them, the guy just told me, he's like, oh, we happened to find one room with a king bed. I'm pretty sure they had more. But anyway, so he moved me to that room, and I was able to get good night's sleep. So just keep that in mind. Like if you decide on a room with a queen size or king size bed and you get in the bed, it's uncomfortable. It might be two beds pushed together, and those beds individually might not be very comfortable. So if that's an issue, just go down and talk to them at the front desk, and they might be able to help you by moving you to a room with an actual king size bed, or at a minimum, yeah, maybe they can give you a double bed if you're okay with that. But yeah, just don't feel like you need to suffer. Another thing I do because of that, another thing I will do if I'm in a city for more than a few days, instead of booking a block, so say I'm in Turin for 7 days, instead of booking a room at one hotel for all 7 days, I'll break it up. So one of the reasons I'll break it up at different hotels is because I will get more points through the American Airlines hotel program by switching hotels. So if I'm staying at the hotel all week, I might only say get 3,000 or 4,000 points. But if I split it up amongst two hotels, maybe I end up with 5,000 or 6,000 points. I mean, those are just examples. Look to see what is on offer. And again, you're going to get the best, I guess, the most amount of points if you're a member of the Advantage program and you have the one of the American Airlines credit cards. Otherwise, you're just going to get a very small amount of American Airlines points. So yeah, so I'll break it up. And another reason I do that is because if I'm at a hotel for a couple of days and I have a bed issue and I just don't like that hotel, I know that I'm only there for a few more days, and then I can change the hotel. And for whatever reason, I can't get the hotel portal people to allow me to change hotels or get a refund. I know that, okay, I'm only here for another day or two, and then I'm moving to a different hotel. And sometimes I might not actually book that hotel until I am about to check out of the first hotel. That way, if I'm in a new city, I can explore the different areas of the city and then maybe get a hotel in one of the areas of the city that I like. So that approach can be problematic if there are a lot of things going on in that city. So if there is like a football game or soccer game, soccer in Italian is calcio. So if there's a calcio match, then maybe something's not going to be available or it's going to be very expensive. So yeah, so take that approach at your own risk. I've gotten burned a couple of times, but for me, it just allows more flexibility. Or if I decide I want to leave the city early, maybe I don't want to stay in Turin for 7 days. I know that I have a hotel for 2 days, and then I can head down to Genoa or I can head down to Milan. Or yeah, so it just affords me a lot more flexibility. So yeah, so we're at about 26 minutes here. So yeah, those are just a few kind of random travel tips for traveling throughout Italy. Again, it's a beautiful country. It is so easy to travel by train. It's something I really wish the United States would focus more on. Just train travel. If you're in the Northeast Corridor between New York, Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore, Boston, like that corridor there, it's pretty easy to take trains and to take a Acela and all that. But and from Chicago's a major train hub, a travel hub for not only flights but also trains. But we don't have the high-speed trains, like the super high-speed trains that you can get from Rome to Florence in like an hour and a half. So I wish we'd invest more in train travel. Obviously, the United States is much bigger than Italy, so to have a nationwide high-speed train travel network would be very expensive. But to do it locally, so what they're doing down in Florida with Brightline and in Las Vegas and California with the Brightline West, like I'm so excited about that. What they're planning to eventually do in California with, we'll see if it's ever built, but through the Central Valley between San Francisco and Los Angeles, the high-speed train there. It's pretty easy from Chicago to get up to Milwaukee by train, so just really great way of travel. It's fast, it's safe. You don't have to show up to the train station 2 hours before. Like for this train, I showed up 10 minutes early to the train station. I like to maybe 10 to 15 minutes get to the train station 10 to 15 minutes early, just so I can find the right binario, the right track. If you're at a large train station like in Milan or in Rome at Roma Termini, maybe give yourself a little more time. Go grab a coffee or a snack upstairs, and then make your way to the binario. Excuse me. And yeah, with that, I'd say those are my travel tips. Safe travels to Italy. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. So ciao, until next time. Ciao, ciao.